Welcome back. We're so glad to see you. We're so glad you're here. Your comments and suggestions are very kind and useful, and I appreciate them all. Stay in contact. Let me know what you want to see, and recommend your friends and acquaintances. You know our motto, everyone is a star, and everyone has a great story to tell. Well, today we've got some great guests for you, and we're starting off with Mr. Alec Thomas. How are you today, Alec?
I'm doing wonderful, Angel. Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, we're so honored. We're so honored. You are a man of multi-talents, and I say that because I've been to your house.
Oh, yes,
and you know how to cook.
Yes, you know, growing up with boys in the house, by the time I came along, the girls were older and had went away to college. So my mom told me, if you want to eat, you better learn how to cook because your brother can't make anything but oatmeal. So that's how I started. And as you know, I grew up in the restaurant industry in Detroit. My dad owned restaurants in Detroit, and I loved being around him, and I loved the atmosphere that the restaurants used to have at that time. We don't have many restaurants in our communities like they were back in when we were growing up in Detroit in the 50s and 60s. There was more than a restaurant. It was a gathering place of the community, similar to the barbershops were the same way. And so that whole atmosphere was very important in my upbringing.
Well, actually, Detroit was so unique, and
Yes.
I still have great love for it. And it was the fact that it was a community center. There were certain areas you knew if you could get to that area, that restaurant
Yes,
that you're
yes.
talking about, the barber shop, the beauty shop,
yes.
there were people there that were going to help you and guide you. Remember, one of the main things you heard growing up, you better get a good education. God bless the child that's got his own.
Oh, yes. I very interesting. When I was involved in counseling, and that's what I went to college for in Michigan, to be involved in social work and counseling. And I would talk to young people and tell them how I didn't have to, that was our deterrent when I was a kid. There were guys in the gang, so to speak, during that time, or in the life, that would tell you, little Al, you better go, don't let me find out you got kicked out of school or you got into trouble. We were policed by our community, no matter what level you had in that community. So, i.e. the prostitute or the player or the gambler or even Mother Johnson, who lived on the corner, could tell you what to do, and you knew you better not do anything but say yes ma'am and no ma'am and take your butt on home. And that's how it was at that time. And I think we're lacking a little bit in our society when we don't rely on the totality of our community to help with our children and the growth of our community.
It's called, it takes a village to raise their child, and that's the truth. Yeah. And we had the benefit of that because, as you said, anyone. From the bus driver driving you to school to any school personnel, any neighbor, the worst thing that could happen in your day was to have one of those people tell your parents,
don't let that happen.
He was disrespectful. Oh, it was over.
Yes.
So, you know, it was just the respect for elders and community people that made a difference. How long have you been in Las Vegas?
15 years now.
Okay, well, how did you happen to come here?
15 years ago, my then wife was offered an opportunity to manage one of the temp to perm employment services that was very, very prevalent at that time here in Las Vegas. With the new building of the housing industry was booming, the industry, entertainment always, but it's very, very fluid here, and employment is very fluid here in Vegas because it's so transient. And we moved here from the Orange County, Southern California region to move here to Vegas. Really never thought about moving to Vegas. Came here for a long, long time, decades.
Well, living in California, I can understand why you weren't thinking.
Right.
California is so wonderful, except that is for the expense. It's so, you know, if you could have triple your money, then you could live there and it would be similar to Vegas.
That's very true.
So now, how did you get into entertainment and helping people into entertainment?
Angel, I got into my section of entertainment as a teenager growing up in Detroit and living, going to school right down the street from Motown, literally a couple of blocks. I went to Northwestern High, which was the high school that Berry Gordy graduated from, and so many other Motown artists. And I wanted to not be an entertainer, but just be behind the scenes. I became really engrossed with watching how the shows were put together. I was one of the witnesses of the Motown Review back during the day. I grew up with Stevie, as you know, worked with him for many years, and got a chance to get to see what it took to put a show together. So that's the side of entertainment I always loved. And the part that I really became infatuated with and put my stock in was the costumes and how they dressed. So picking out clothes and fabrics that look good and the lighting and how it reflected, that was the part that I really was interested in.
It's fascinating. So you also, I understand, had the opportunity to be with your dad in one of the famous entertainment show bars.
Oh, the Flame Showbar in Detroit, down in what they used to call Black Bottom. The Flame Showbar opened up in 1949, and it stayed open to about 1961. And the true story is that my dad's and my uncles owned the laundry, and they got their laundry service got the contract to provide the linens and tablecloths and things for the Flame Showbar, which was one of the meccas of black entertainment in the decade of the 50s. And the day that they went to take the first delivery was the day that I was born. And my dad announced, I just had a son. And they said, well, let's have a drink. And God, I think about it, and it makes me emotional thinking about it. How great times were then. So everybody had to drink and, you know, congratulated him. And so my birthday was the first birthday celebrated at the fabulous Flame Showbar.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's a nice legacy.
Yeah.
Hold on to that. That's
Yes.
great. And so while you've been here in Las Vegas, you've decided to have a show sort of wrapped around that concept.
That time, yeah. What we were talking about earlier, my granddaughter, interesting enough, came to visit. And we were talking about things and the old times and my parents and how I grew up. And I wanted to leave her something, because I have this picture of my mom and my dad and some of my uncles and aunts at the Flame Showbar. And I wanted to leave her something more than just a picture that she could rely on to talk about to her kids, and a legacy for the Thomas family. So I thought, you know, I had always wanted to do something for my mom, and I wasn't an entertainer, but she died when I was such a young man that I tell people, and it's not, and I mean this seriously, I never got a chance to take my mom out to dinner. I was 20 years old and in college, you know, when my mother passed away. And something that a lot of people take for granted, going to dinner with their mom. But imagine you never got a chance to do that. So,
or in my case, we never went out for dinner. My grandmother was there. She cooked. My mom cooked.
Oh, wow.
Home was the place.
Doing that,
you know?
exactly.
Oh, my goodness. And the neighbors even came over. Yeah.
And we didn't miss anything because they were such great cooks. You know, we had so much fun over there. But that's why I got interested in the Flame Showbar story. So I decided to write a musical, historical story about the Flame Showbar, and I did it in a manner where it's 1959, which is 10 years after it opened, when through my research and books that I read before Motown, and also a book about Black Bottom and Paradise Valley, that talks about how the community fought to keep it relevant and vibrant for almost 5 years against Chrysler Corporation and General Motors, who wanted to tear that corridor down and build affordable housing for their executives and their engineers to move into, because of the close proximity to the central location of Detroit. Like most cities, you want to be centrally located so you can go to your jobs and be more convenient. And this was before the flight to the suburbs. Show you how they were thinking. And through eminent domain, they were able to move out a whole black community of over 3,000 different businesses, and not to mention the churches and everything that's vibrant to a community got wiped away for let's say for a freeway.
Yes.
For the Chrysler Freeway,
Most
which is still there today. And what it did was it divided a very, very vibrant community. But through that division came, like in most cases, a lot of growth, because the growth of the music industry as we knew it in Detroit changed the world, because out of those ashes of Black Bottom became Motown.
Which did indeed. And
Which did indeed.
Still
did you say the word
world.
Motown
and people
you know,
just smile.
Hitsville, USA, and people can tell you the story of Berry Gordy and you know the Supremes and Stevie Wonder.
Sunshine into the room.
Yes, and
absolutely.
that all became you know the story, as you know, because you know modestly were one of the producers that helped me put this show together. Talks about how. The Flame Showbar was the seed that grew Motown, because Berry Gordy hung out at the Flame Showbar all his life, basically, and his sisters ran the camera concession, taking the pictures there. And so when he started Motown, the first person he hired was Maurice King, who was the musical director of the Flame Showbar from the first day it opened to the day it closed.
Interesting, the connection there. So you produce the Queens of Jazz.
Queens of Jazz, that's the name of that show.
That was a show, and it was spectacular.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Out of that, now you're bringing another show.
Through that birthed two other shows, Oh What a Night, which is a tribute to the R&B male vocal groups of the 50s and the 60s and 70s, when men sung those love songs to those ladies and told you how much we missed you, how we couldn't do without you, and ooh, baby, baby, and my girl, all those songs that really are the birth, or as they say, the soundtrack of our generation, the baby boomers. Even today, you can be riding anywhere in your car or at home or listening to your computer, and one of those songs will come on from that time, and you almost remember the day you heard it, who your girlfriend was, what outfit you had on.
It brings memories. What's so wonderful about today is you turn on the television and a commercial comes on
with those songs,
playing one of the old tunes. And I mean, you're just dancing and enjoying yourself, for sure.
Exactly.
So this show coming up is called Oh What a Night.
Well, yes, it's entitled Oh What a Night is the
and what date is
main
it?
title. November the 15th at the Cannery East Hotel and Casino.
It's a Sunday here in Las Vegas.
Yes.
November 16th, so fly on in, everybody. Oh, it's 15th.
November the 15th. That's a 5.
Oh, you all be careful.
That's a 5.
You know we wear reading glasses.
November the 15th is a Sunday afternoon show. And all of our shows really through St. Croix Marketing Concepts, we decided to, branding is important in marketing. So we branded Sundays as when 99.9% of the shows we do, because grooving on the Sunday afternoon is my theme. You know, because that song from back during that time, it meant a lot to a lot of people, and I remember how Sunday afternoons are. You know, a Sunday afternoon is a special day.
So no matter what date we think it is, just go on Sunday and we'll be...
and you'll be in the right place. But it's Sunday, November the 15th at the Cannery East at the 1-6 Skyview Club on the 16th floor.
The East Side Cannery at the very top, which is a beautiful view. And we invite all of our viewers to fly on in, spend a weekend with us.
Spend a weekend in Vegas, absolutely.
So you're doing the shows. You've got Oh What a Night coming up, and you also have some products you
the wonderful thing, yes, we
tell
talked
the community about.
We talked about restaurants and food. I make barbecue sauce, and the name of my barbecue sauce is St. Croix Gourmet Barbecue Sauce. My parents were from the island of St. Croix, so in tribute to my ancestors, which this barbecue sauce is 3 generations. I'm the 3rd generation to make this sauce, and now I have a grandson, and a son and grandson who make it. So now we talk about the 4th and the 5th generation of men making the Thomas men making this barbecue sauce. It's a Caribbean style barbecue sauce, and very sweet and a little spice and smoke to it. And it's not only used for barbecuing the meats, but it also is used for a sauce for your vegetables. It's excellent on your green vegetables as like a just a dipping sauce or something like that.
Very good, very good. And you also do catering now.
We do catering, St. Croix Marketing Catering Division. We specialize in appetizers and hors d'oeuvres for special parties and private parties. And we just redeveloped or reintroduced that. I always have been involved in a little bit of catering because I did the mortgage industry. I was a mortgage loan officer, and one of the tools I used to brand my mortgage company was to give away my barbecue sauce and offer to come out and cook the food for the real estate agents.
Wonderful. And you also have a third product.
The third product is Three Amigos Tequila, which the barbecue sauce is in one of our bottles, as a matter of fact.
Okay. It's a beautiful bottle.
We're getting ready to start a partnership with the Gonzalez family of Bartolo Farms in Mexico, who bottled this tequila, which is organic, by the way. Organically made tequila. The ground and the soil is no insecticides, pesticides, or herbicides are used in the soil. So the agave plant that makes tequila is 100% pure blue Weber agave.
Well, that's good to know. I mean,
Yes.
when drinking,
When you're drinking, drinking healthy.
make sure it's pure and healthy and good for us.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Alec Thomas.
It's been my pleasure.
Oh, you're so delightful, so talented, and it's...
The word is blessed by God. It's,
Yes,
you know,
yes,
that's
indeed.
really what it is.
Yes, it is. And we're asking that you come back and share some of your other ventures with us.
I will.
Keep us up
Absolutely.
to date, and
Thank
we'll
you.
have things on the website about what you're doing.
Well, this is a wonderful job you're doing. Enlightening people in their spirits is important, and I thank God for you, Angel. You have the right name because you've definitely been an angel in my life.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for joining
You're
us.
welcome. Thank you.
Well, that's it this time. We're going to see you soon, and we've enjoyed our chat with Alec Thomas. He's got some great products. See you next time.